Hi, I'm Chuck Dorsett for Weaver Leather Supply. Let's take a minute to talk about our new and improved Cub. Sales pitch? Absolutely, but I love this machine for so many reasons. Well, first off, for us crafters, we don't have to break the bank to buy a quality machine that's going to sew the thicker weights. That alone opens up a whole new world of project possibilities. Secondly, if we're not sewing yet but we need to, easy to thread, easy to maintain, and very easy to sew. The last reason, and this is an odd one, it takes a minute for this one to land. This machine, totally mobile. We'll talk more about that. All right, so we're going to start on our pattern table because I work for Weaver Leather, and even I'm amazed at how many extras we put in the box. I actually had a great time unpacking the box the Cub came in simply because I kept pulling out more stuff before I ever actually got to the machine. But this is a big point. The Cub is not built in some factory somewhere where they make Cubs one week and widgets the next. We have a big manufacturing facility. You can say we sew a lot of leather. So the folks that design this know exactly what we're going to need. So let's start right here. Not one, but two spools of the 207 thread. Now we've got that in black and brown, but we'll have to buy that separately. We get the white in the box. A great, very quality thread stand, weighted on the bottom. On our oil, quality oil can and the Lily stitching oil. I don't use anything else. We get nippers, we get an extra pack of needles, and two bobbins. One will actually come in the machine wound, and then we get an extra in the package. Right there, that's an attachment to go in a hand drill so we can wind our bobbins. We even get extra bolts beyond what are used to bolt this down to the shipping board. We get an extra larger foot for projects with more surface area. Every tool we need is actually on the machine. We'll look at that. And right here, look at that, a roller guide. That is a quality piece of equipment. Now, the owner's manual, absolutely the best that I've seen because this tells us everything we need to know in a very easy manner. One more thing, the Weaver pin, well, this does not come in the box, but I'm certainly going to inquire about that. Okay, so let's look at the machine itself. Our Cub is a cylinder arm machine. That allows all kinds of project possibilities that a flatbed does not. We can make a table for this, and we'll talk about that. But if we do, we have both a cylinder arm and a flatbed in our shop. Right here, that's our guide. In fact, that feels like a quality accessory. Roller head, adjustable arm. We can use the guide or simply flip that up if we're going to freehand sew. Now, the last point here, and I don't want to roll here, but I think this is one of the best parts of the machine. Well, first off, it's an aluminum body, so it's a little bit lighter than a standard machine. Still heavy, but the point is, I'm a smaller person. I can pick this up with one hand. Here's where I'm going with this. So when we pull this out of the box, it's bolted to this board. Well, that's just there to stabilize it while it's being shipped so it doesn't get damaged. But in my opinion, that's one of the best accessories because the machine now is totally mobile. Here's some good examples. Say in our shop, with us crafters, we never have a big shop. It's hard to designate an area for a machine. We don't have to. Let's leave it on the board. We pull the board out, put it on our work surface, clamp it down, sew, remove it, we've got our work surface back. Or do we want to take our machine to a friend's shop? Do we do craft shows or fairs or events? In fact, my wife owns a horse. I haven't done this yet, but if we take our Cub to a barn, we're going to be extremely popular because there's always a pile of tack that needs to be replaced, and this is exactly the machine to do that. Okay, let's look at threading this machine, and then let's sew. When we receive our Cub, it's going to be threaded, and we're going to have a test piece. That's the plant showing us not only that this puts in a beautiful stitch line, but we have multiple stitch lengths. Right here, this is the knob that will control that. We turn this clockwise for more stitches per inch, counterclockwise for less stitches per inch. So right here, this is our foot lift lever. Let's raise that up. Good. Now, this is mostly for the folks that are new or want to jump into a machine. My two biggest stress points, how do I thread a machine and how do I deal with the bobbin? Both incredibly easy. So let's start right here. When this comes in, this is going to be threaded, but let's take this thread out and thread it. Let's start from our spool right here. This is an easy guide. All we have to do is lay our thread down, circle around. Our first stop on the machine, this is our top thread eyelet. We're going to come through that. Now, our tensioner. we've got an inbound thread guide and an outbound thread guide. So let's come through the first. Let's circle these plates and let's make sure that thread seats between our two tension plates. I can feel the tension in that. It has. So let's come out this side. Good. Now, down to our thread guide, which is bottom center. Through that. And then back up to our take-up arm. Back, let's pull some more thread through there. Good. Now, right here, that's the tension bar. We're going to slide the thread under that. And now to our thread guide at the top of the needle. We're going to slide our thread through that. And the last stop. Let's thread the eye. And we always want to thread from the outside in. How easy is that? We do that once and we've got it down pat. Okay? Now our bobbin. First off, notice how easy it is to get to our bobbin. If you've ever sewn on a flatbed, not the case. Well, right here, we've got a small lever. There we are. There's our bobbin. And we've got an attachment that will allow us to spin a bobbin or wind a bobbin on a drill. Super fast and super easy. Now, the one thing here, though, I want to make sure that when I insert this, the thread is coming off the top of the spool and away from me. Right there, we've got a small cut. Let's drop our thread in that. Now let's just pull it. You notice how easily it seats down in there. Now with a lot of machines, it's a little bit tough to get to our bobbin. We can progress the machine to pick up the bobbin thread, but in all honesty, it is so easy to work the thread through there. I'm ready to sew. In my opinion, the best aspect of this machine is the ease at which it moves through multiple plies of leather. I've got 3 8-to-9s back to back here, and that's not even getting close to the max. Now, on our flywheel, we only want to turn clockwise. This machine does not have a reverse, so to do a back stitch, we need to sew, turn our work, and then sew. It's super easy to do, but 3 plies here, I am not even going to put pressure on this flywheel. I am simply turning it. And I am just putting absolutely no pressure on that flywheel. And there we are. How easy is that? In fact, we can lift our foot, turn that, pull this out. Now I'm going to pull a little extra thread there because a nice touch right there, we've got a thread cutter. How convenient is that? We've got a good feel for this machine. Threading, no issue. Bobbin easy to deal with, and sewing an absolute dream. So I'm going to take this off of the board, bolt it to my table. Let's go over just a couple of miscellaneous notes. If we want to keep our Cub bolted to the board, there are 2 things we need to do. Well, first off, the warehouse is simply adding 2 carriage bolts for shipping. I would certainly say let's add 1 more. But with the carriage bolts, those are going to stick up. They are not countersunk. So let's kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Let's put some 8 to 9 ounce scrap for feet or corners. That's going to lift that board up. The bolts won't be a problem, but we're not going to damage whatever work surface we're on. Now, I mentioned a table. We can certainly make a table for this. Simply slides on. Now, very simple measurements. Right here, this plate is 2.5 inches long, 6.35 centimeters. The width there, 1 5/8, 4.12 centimeters, and the height from our tabletop to this plate, 4 3/4 inches, or 12.06 centimeters. Now on this, I've just come in about 5.5 inches. 2 more points on this. When we get this in the box, the arm is going to be secured with some padding. Well, we actually need 2 of these because we're going to place this somewhere and we need this where we're going. So a 2x4 and an 8 to 9 ounce is perfect to secure that when we're unbolting it and rebolting it. And one last point, our owner's manual, this is the best one going. Oiling it, no issue. The plates simply come off, the Allen wrenches are right there, and this shows us exactly where we want to oil our machine. If we take care of it, it's going to take care of us. And this tells us everything we need to know. When we start to think about a heavier weight machine with a cylinder arm, the project possibilities absolutely multiply. We can do things we've never done before. And the Cub, it's the perfect machine for so many reasons. I hope this is good information for you. Good luck with your Cub.